that you answer. When I ask you if you wanna, you're a panther. I'm a little too for a boy, you a trans girl. I put on left, right, it just says cancer. I can go change if you want to. I mean no things that you don't do. I won't put a foot on the floor unless I am sure. You just jump head first, hope for an encore. Oh, look, girl. I can play for the nice my turn. I can feel it in my bones.
MALSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, you know that. So do I, and so do we together. Anyways, how are you? I hope you have had a fantastic 23, because that's probably where you hung out with me last. So how are you? How are things? How are things on this lovely Wednesday? You know, it is August 24th of 2022, just in case if you did forget. It is day 236. So what does that mean to you and I, the common folk? Well, that means that there's 129 days left before the end of the whole shit show. So I am pretty excited about that aspect of it. And then we get to see the 23 instead of the 22 and all that kind of fun stuff. So that makes it some interesting and fun times as we are hanging out. Anyways, we are broadcasting live from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM, just in case if you did not know. And then we are hanging out with our friends and colleagues at that other place.
Radio Big. USA, Canada, UK.
Yep, hanging out with our friends at RadioBig.fm that can now be heard because it's being distributed on iHeartRadio. So there you go. And I'm not talking about the podcast aspect. I'm talking about the whole kit and caboodle. If you go over there now, you can take a listen to what the hell they have going on. And I'm talking about from the all subject matters of what is going on inside of the world over there. So there you go. Some things that can be done if you're so inclined to do so. Anyways, with that being said, if you're not familiar with the show and want to interact with the show, it's kind of a simple process. All you have to do is go to callinradio.com. That's callinradio.com. That will get you moving and grooving straight through the system to get you to here. Outside of that, if you're inside of the chatty yaddy boxy oxy, that is more than likely not somewhere where we're going to see you if you're inside of the social media box. So we prefer it in the Call In Radio platform. It does seem like we are still having a struggle on Twitch is what it looks like, and on LinkedIn at the moment. But hey, listen, it's neither here or there. We prefer for you to be on the radio side of the house, just in case if that's what you're looking to do. But I'm sure we'll get it all fixed at some point. I just look at it and go, I wonder if we did something where we got the boot and I just didn't know, but stranger things have happened, so don't worry about that. Anyways, with that being said, I think it's time for us to start jabbing and abbing and talking, and let's talk about what was going on.
Here is what was trending. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's talk about what was happening in the trends over the last 23. So taking it from the very top, Jennifer Lopez was trending on Tuesday after sharing a selfie at her wedding on social media. We can talk a little bit more about that if you want. NBA star Kevin Durant landed on Twitter's top 10 trends after agreeing to extend his contract at the Brooklyn Nets. Nick Saban was trending yesterday after landing a big pay heyday with the University of Alabama. We can talk a little bit more about that if you'd like. And then Taylor Swift fans celebrated the release of her album Lover on Tuesday. It's been 3 years of Lover. So, hey, maybe you just have a 3-year Lover if you're taking a look at some of that stuff. So there you go. Some things to think about as we are talking. Anyways, if you're not familiar with what we do around here, it is, let's see, safety in the news and safety. We do a conjumble of all of it and then bring it back together to you. We give you a main story, put a big bow, and send you on your merry way if that's what you want to do. But then you always have the options of hanging out on Safety FM or Radio Big, because we got always a whole cluster, well, you know what I was going to say next, of stuff going on right there. So with that being said, I think it is time for us to get involved with what is going on inside of the world of the news.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
NBC News Radio, I'm Michael Kastner. A federal judge in Florida is giving former President Donald Trump until Friday to clarify his request for a special master to review government documents the FBI seized at Trump's Mar-a-Lago home earlier this month. Judge Eileen Cannon ordered Trump to elaborate on how the court has jurisdiction and exactly what he wants the court to order. She also told Trump's legal team to provide details on whether it served the Department of Justice with the lawsuit. NBC's Kristen Welker with more.
Stunning new revelations about those documents recovered from Mar-a-Lago. According to the New York Times, citing people briefed on the matter, more than 300 documents had classified markings. Some were handed over by former President Trump earlier this year. Others seized in that controversial FBI search of his home.
Representative Matt Gaetz of Florida is coming out on top after the latest round of primary elections. The three-term incumbent fended off a challenge from a retired FedEx executive as voters hit the polls Tuesday. That challenger, Mark Lombardo, had questioned in recent campaign ads whether Gaetz was an informant who led the FBI to execute that search warrant on former President Trump's home in Palm Beach. Today is Independence Day in Ukraine, 31 years after the country broke free from the Russian-dominated Soviet Union. More from Mark Mayfield.
Today also marks 6 months since Russia began invading the nation of 41 million. While the mood of the country is defiant as its troops battle Russian forces that expected to take over Ukraine months ago, independence celebrations will be subdued because of the unending threats of attacks. In a show of defiance, the government laid out hulks of burned-out Russian tanks and armored vehicles like trophies in central Kyiv.
U.S. military says it launched airstrikes against targets in eastern Syria Tuesday. The sites were reportedly used by groups linked to Iran's elite Revolutionary Guard. Michael Kastner, NBC News Radio.
Safety never sounded so terrible. Rated R Safety Show.
Feature Story News in London, I'm Chris Jones. Tributes are being paid to Ukraine as it celebrates its Independence Day, which coincides with the 6-month marker since Russia began its invasion. A delegation of Japanese politicians is pledging to continue to support the self-governed island of Taiwan. South Korea has taken tactical action in response to Russian military planes entering its airspace, and newly imposed hosepipe bans across the UK are set to impact 15 million people.
You are listening to a renowned safety expert, Dr. Jay Allen, on Safety FM. Changing safety cultures, one broadcast and one podcast at a time. Join the fun on social media and find us on Facebook at Safety FM.
A Florida postal worker is dead after getting attacked by a pack of dogs. Katie Richley, the niece of the victim, Pam Rock, said she's hoping for justice against the owners.
They were negligent in the care of their animals. They did not just attack her. They were ripping her apart.
Pam Rock's delivery truck broke down in a rural area of Putnam County about 60 miles south of Jacksonville. Officials say while she waited for assistance, 5 dogs broke through the fence of a nearby house and attacked her. Neighbors attempted to intervene, but by the time the deputies arrived, she had suffered traumatic injuries. Animal control officials and officers have been called previously to the area where the tragedy took place. Authorities say the 5 dogs who attacked Rock will be euthanized and the owners could face charges. The White House says the recently passed climate and tax bill could greatly reduce costs from climate-related damage. Sarah Lee Kessler reports.
That's based on modeling done by Princeton University and the Rhodium Group, an independent research provider in New York City. They estimate the law's climate provisions could ultimately save nearly $2 trillion by reducing up to 1 billion metric tons of carbon dioxide every year.
Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot is accusing a conservative organization of altering her skin to appear darker in a TV ad opposing Governor J.B. Pritzker's re-election. The mayor said the group used racist tropes by darkening her skin color to create a scary image of Black Chicago.
It is the ultimate dog whistle being propagated in support of Darren Bailey.
The ad, created by the People Who Play by the Rules PAC, warns that Chicago violence is coming to the suburbs. The commercial starts with a clip of Lightfoot giving a speech to the City Club of Chicago in April. Stock futures are flat following the S&P 500's third straight losing day. Michael Kastner, NBC News Radio.
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
It's a new year, but it's feeling harder than ever to find and hire qualified people you need, especially for small businesses. That's where LinkedIn Job comes in. They make it easier to find people you want to talk to faster and for free. You can create a free job post in minutes on LinkedIn Jobs to reach your network and beyond to the world's largest professional network of over 770 million people. Focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience and use screening questions to get your role in front of the most qualified people. Then use the simple tools on LinkedIn Jobs to quickly filter and prioritize who'd you like to interview and hire. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs number one in delivering qualified hires versus leading competitors. I have to tell you that we have used LinkedIn Jobs to even find some of the people that we have here at Safety FM. LinkedIn Jobs can help you find the candidates you want to talk to faster. Did you know that every week nearly 40 million job seekers visit LinkedIn? Post your jobs for free on linkedin.com/safetyfm. That's linkedin.com/safetyfm to post your job for free. Terms and conditions do apply. And don't forget to tell them that you heard it right here on Safety FM.
Right now, our country feels divided, but there's a place where people are coming together.
I gotta tell you, I was nervous to talk to someone so different than me.
Me too, but I'm glad we are.
Love Has No Labels and One Small Step are helping people with different political views, beliefs, and life experiences come together through conversation, and it feels good.
Wow, your story is so...
Interesting?
Yeah.
When people actually sit down, talk, and listen to one another, they can break down boundaries and connect as human beings. At lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep, you can listen to amazing, life-changing conversations and find simple tools to start a conversation of your own.
I know one thing. This conversation gives me hope.
It gives me a lot of hope, too.
Take a step toward bringing our country and your community together by having the courage to start a conversation at lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep. A message from StoryCorps, Love Has No Labels, and the Ad Council.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding. Whoa! Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back.
Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie.
So wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago. Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
Here is another bit for our competitors to copy. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, there you go. 15 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely hump day. So there you go. Anyways, a former Twitter executive is in charge of cybersecurity as field former whistleblower complaints to the federal government, accusing the platform of major issues with national security implications. Peter Zatko says the lack of internal safeguards make it all too easy for foreign operatives to spy, account, and execute disinformation campaigns, according to reporting in CNN and Washington Post. He also alleges that Twitter has no system in place to understand just how many accounts are actual people and how many are bots, which makes his complaint essential information in Twitter's ongoing lawsuit with Elon Musk to enforce his acquisition of the company. Worth noting, Zatko may be a little more than a disgruntled employee. He was fired in January. The official word is that he was let go for poor performance. Zatko says that he was dismissed after repeatedly trying to bring the security lapses to the attention of the board of directors in his role as head of security. Zatko reported directly to Twitter's CEO. A rep for Musk's legal camp says they have already issued a subpoena for Zatko. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Of course, anytime that you have somebody who left a company and is potentially becoming a main whistleblower, excuse me, in regards of anything right there. Man, I just coughed in your ear and I feel so bad about it. So in regards of anything that is actually going on, it's going to be one of those things that they're always going to say, well, this worker did X, Y, and Z to be, not just a disgruntled employee, but to be an employee that they say, well, they're only doing it out of malice. Malice, I tell you.
Oops. What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Okay, if it all goes well, 17-year-old Mac Rutherford will become the youngest person to fly solo around the world when he lands in Bulgaria today. He has been flying an ultralight Shark, which can go as fast as 186 miles per hour since March 23rd. He's clocked 52 countries on 5 continents and crossed the equator twice to satisfy the requirements of the Guinness Book of World Records. Here's how Associated Press describes his journey. The flight took him through Africa to the Gulf regions, where he faced a period of extreme heat, then went to India, China, South Korea, and Japan. From there, he headed to Alaska, down to the U.S. West Coast to Mexico. Hey now. The team then headed north again to the U.S. coast, or the U.S. East Coast to Canada, and then to the Atlantic via Iceland, then to the UK and Belgium. Worth noting, just last year, the Brit named Travis Ludlow had set the record at 18 years of age. Rutherford's sisters became the youngest woman to accomplish a feat back in January. She was 19. Rutherford turned 17 while on his trip. Man, that sounds like some interesting times, because I go back for a moment and think about when I was 17, and I will tell you, flying around the planet was not what I had in mind. I think back then what I had in mind was radio and girls, girls, girls.
Safety in a way never heard of before. The Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
So as we talk a little bit about everything here, because that's what we do. If not, I would be doing something else. McDonald's is testing a chicken Big Mac later this month, replacing the beef patties with chicken patties similar to those as the McChicken. It's only going to be available in the Miami area at first, though, and the Arches first tested this new sandwich in the UK, where it was a hit. So we'll see what happens inside of there. It'll be interesting to see what's going to happen there, because now you're going to go from a burger to a breaded chicken. Hey, whatever. You do you. Anyways, at long last, a meteorologist has held accountable for getting the weather wrong. Hungary's Minister of Technology and Industry announced that the top two officials of Hungary National Meteorologist Service got rain forecast wrong, which led to the country canceling a fireworks display for its first annual St. Stephen's Day celebration over the weekend. The forecaster is expected it to rain right around 9 p.m. Organizers say that it's the largest fireworks show in Europe. It has been rescheduled for later this week. So how are you holding them accountable? I mean, that's not an accountability. That's just more of you saying, hey, you got the stuff wrong, so now it's something that we need to talk about because you didn't do anything about it. Meteorology and being a hitter in baseball is about the same thing, or playing baseball is about the same thing. You only have to be about 33% accurate, and you're all right. You're all right if you're doing it. Think about that for a moment. Anyways, NASA has rescheduled the first launch of its ATOMS program, which will take a rocket to the moon as early as Monday. Yes. The mission will take it farther than the spacecraft designed to carry humans, flying 40,000 miles beyond the far side of the moon. If it launches as scheduled, it will return on October the 10th, traveling about 1.3 million miles. Mannequins fitted with sensors will help gather the data on how the mission will impact humans' futures in flight. Also, NASA is including a plush Snoopy toy as its zero gravity indicator, which will, freely float in space. So that will be an interesting thing for people to take a look at. I'm pretty sure that it'll be some exciting times. Anyways, before we get too far into anything else, let's get some John Smalls inside of here and let him tell you about what's going on in the Market Beat.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Wednesday, August 24th, 2022. Equity markets held their ground Tuesday despite renewed signals of economic contraction. The flash reading for both services and manufacturing sector PMIs came in below expectation, and with the service sector deep in contractionary territory. The reading of 44 is the fifth month of decline and the lowest reading since May of 2020. The news may be a one-off, but is compounded by a trend in data that suggests the economic slowdown that began in Q1 is still present in Q2. With the market in retreat, the economic data weak, and the PCE price index due out Friday, the odds of another major sell-off are high. The S&P 500 is still above the 30-day EMA, but not by much. And it won't take much to spark the move. Once the index is below 4115, investors should expect to see downward momentum build and the next fall to 4,000 or lower. You can get the inside track from Wall Street's brightest minds delivered directly to your inbox every day at marketbeatminute.com.
Okay, thank you, Johnny Smalls, for that information right there. You know, you're always keeping us 100. That is for sure. Anyways, the Dow lost about 154 points on Monday to close at 32,909. The S&P lost about 9.26 points to close at 4,128, and the NASDAQ lost about 0.27 points to close at 12,381. West Texas Intermediate on Tuesday was trading north of $93 a barrel, and Brent crude went back up just above $100 a barrel. The national average price of a gallon of gas was $3.89. Bitcoin picked up about $83 on Tuesday, trading about 21,480. There were 3,151 flights delayed within, into, and out of the United States. And on Tuesday, there was 595 flights canceled altogether. You know, we talk about Tuesdays, and that seems to be some of the lower days on cancellations, but the delays seem a little bit high, higher than normal, if one may say so themselves. Anyways, with that being said, let's talk about the charts, and let's talk about the top fiction and nonfiction books currently on the New York Times bestsellers list. Taking it from the bottom of the fiction category, at number 5 is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. She seemed pretty busy. At number 4, Ugly Love. At number 3, Verity. At number 2, It Ends With Us. And at the number 1 spot, Where the Crawdads Sing. So there you go. If you're looking at the nonfiction category, it goes something like this: Braiding Sweetgrass, The Destructionist. At number 3, Path Lit by Lightning. At number 2, The Body Keeps the Score. And at the number 1 spot, I'm Glad My Mom is... Whoa, hold on. I'm Glad My Mom Died. Yeah, you heard me correctly there. I'm Glad My Mom Died. That's something that, you know, that's the name of the book. That's something that I'm saying for me. Just giving it to you in the real form that it's right there. Anyways, let's continue talking about some things that are going on. Let's take it off right away with this one. White House is mulling a $10K in student loan forgiveness. President Biden is expected to announce today up to a cancellation of $10,000 in federal student loan aid. Education Secretary Miguel Cardona says the administration is looking to relieve financial stress to many Americans.
We want to make sure higher education is accessible, and we know education is the great equalizer.
The estimated over 40 million Americans are in debt for their education, totaling more than, $1.7 trillion. Critics are warning the cancellation of student debt could make inflation even worse. Some Democrats have called for the president to forgive $50,000, but Biden last year said that he wasn't willing to go that far. With the midterms nearing, President Biden faces pressure to do something on this issue. So let's see the current. The current stat will actually expire on August the 31st. So let's see. The President Committee for the Responsible for Federal Budget warns that canceling student debt could make inflation even worse.
You cannot add that to the debt at a time where the debt is at near record levels and inflation is a huge problem.
The University of Wisconsin-Madison professor Nick Hillman says that President Biden faces the pressure to do something with the midterms nearing.
I think the longer that this plays out, the more that the political opponents on the right are going to critique that and say this is not the way to go.
And President Biden says that he is not willing to go as far as some has called for.
I'm prepared to write off the $10,000 debt, but not $50,000.
So there you go. A lot of stuff going on inside of there. It'll be interesting to see what happens here over the next little bit. I guess we'll find out a little bit later today. Anyways, take a listen to this. A man accused of raping his neighbor in New York City has been released because he has diplomatic immunity. Take a listen to this one.
Multiple reports say 46-year-old Charles Oliha was accused of forcing his way into the Manhattan apartment of his neighbor on Sunday and raping her twice. Oliha was arrested on suspicion of rape but was released without being charged because he's a UN diplomat from South Sudan. The South Sudanese mission to the UN in Manhattan has not commented on the report. New York Mayor Eric Adams says an investigation is underway. I'm Mark Mayfield.
Okay, thank you, Mark, for the information. That makes it an interesting one because, hey, listen, if you have diplomatic immunity, I don't really think that that's going to fall under the legislation of that, but it makes it an interesting aspect because I just don't think that things are going to go too well. I'm just saying things are probably not going to go too well.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Anyways, take a listen to this one. An NYPD cop is fighting for his life today after he was attacked while jogging in the Bronx on Tuesday morning. Noam Layden has more information.
The 48-year-old officer was off duty when three men ambushed him as he was out for a jog. The trio hit the officer in the head, then made off with his cell phone and wallet. He was discovered by fellow officers lying in the street, rushed to Jacoby Medical Center with bleeding to the brain. Cops have made no arrests, but say the three men involved could be the same crew who've been involved in 19 similar robberies across the city since August 1st. Noam Layden, NBC News Radio, New York.
Okay, thank you, Noam, for that information right there as we are taking a look at everything that is going on and around and about. So some interesting things real quick that we can talk about. I always go, do we really want to go into some of these things that could get us the iggy in regards of what we're talking, or maybe should we kind of keep it copacetic? I never know what to do, so let's do this one real quick. A man will do time behind bars for attacking someone with pepper spray in Ventura. Daniel Martindale has more info.
The 37-year-old man from San Luis Obispo has been sentenced to 45 days in jail and a year on probation. Prosecutors say last year he walked into a private industrial area. He started filming people and live streaming it on YouTube. At that point, the business owners asked the man to leave. He responded by pepper spraying one of them in the face. On Monday, a jury found the man guilty of using tear gas not in self-defense. I'm Daniel Martindale.
Wow, what an interesting timeline there. Hey, I'm not liking what you have to say, so I'm just going to pepper spray you because it seems like a good idea. Don't know what you were thinking there, my friend. but some things probably not really in the best interest of things that are going on inside of the world when you think about it. Anyways, take a listen to this real quick. The U.S. military says that it has launched airstrikes against targets in eastern Syria on Tuesday. Trey Thomas reports.
The sites were reportedly used by groups linked to Iran's elite Revolutionary Guard. The military Central Command says the strikes were aimed at protecting U.S. forces from attacks from Iranian-backed groups. There was no mention of casualties. The strikes come as the U.S. is considering restarting the 2015 nuclear deal with Iran that was dropped by former President Trump. I'm Trey Thomas.
Okay, thank you, Trey, for that information right there. An Oregon jury has awarded a black man $4.4 million in damages in a lawsuit claiming that Walmart employee racially profiled him and tried to have law enforcement arrest him back in March of 2020. Trey Thomas reports.
The jury in Portland awarded Michael Mangum $400,000 in non-economic damages and $4 million in punitive damages, according to a news release from his attorney. The release said Multnomah County Sheriff's deputies didn't take any action against Mangum because the employee's story kept changing and because he had a reputation of making false reports to police. I'm Trey Thomas.
Some interesting stuff going on right there as we are talking for sure. Anyways, take a listen to this. A man in Italy is recovering after contracting monkeypox, COVID-19, and HIV on a single vacation. Take a listen to what Mark Mayfield has to say.
The 36-year-old took a 5-day trip to Spain, and upon returning, he developed a fever, sore throat, headache, fatigue, and inflammation. He tested positive for COVID 3 days after the initial symptoms, and only a few hours later, a rash and blisters broke out on his arms and legs, which prompted him to go to the hospital. That's where he learned he had also contracted monkeypox and HIV during his vacation. He's been discharged after a week-long stay in the hospital. I'm Mark Mayfield.
I want to know, okay, number one, the dude went to Italy. I get it. I understand. Hey, the fun stuff. What the hell were you doing during this vacation? This sounds like some extreme stuff as we are talking. That is for sure. Anyways, with that being said, it is currently 32 minutes past the top of the hour. Well, you know what we're going to do next.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Oh, you know, we give you the ups, we give you the downs, we give you the love, we tell you about the things that are going on. And listen, I have to give the warning here that sometimes I talk about things that are going to piss people off, and sometimes I talk about things that are going to make people happy, and sometimes I just talk about things. At least that's how it feels as I do this main story today and do the main story any day. And listen, my intention behind the main story is not to make people mad. My intention behind the main story is, well, to have something to talk about and for us to actually do something about this. Us to do something that might be important inside of our orgs, inside of our life, inside of our time together. So yesterday I'm sitting around and I'm taking a look and seeing the stuff that it is happening on the interwebs. Now, I sometimes get affiliated and associated with things that I'm not even 100% sure how I get affiliated and associated with, but those things happen and I'm perfectly fine with it. But it's interesting to see some of the stuff that is going on out in the world of safety. And our good old friend Blaine J. Hoffman from the Safety Pro podcast that you can hear here on Safety FM was doing some stuff last night talking about the event that he's at the VPPA and talking about some of the information that is being disclosed there, some of the information that is being shared. He was trying to give a recap of what was going on last night or yesterday, and then he was talking about what they were going to be doing today. They will be filming the Safety Pro podcast today. They're live, which will be kind of a cool thing to do while you're there. So if you are definitely there at the VPPA today, might be something that you want to take a gander near because they have actually built him in what he referred to as the fishbowl, which is a very interesting radio term that's normally used because you're sitting behind glass. But let me get to the point that I'm trying to get to. So he was talking about some of the things that they're talking about. And he was saying that he was interested in some, and he wanted to see what was going on inside of the industry. And it made me think about this right away, about some of the stuff that it is happening in and out inside of the world. And it's interesting that till this day, when we're almost talking about 30 years later after hearing about human performance and how it came about so many years ago, on how we still struggle with some of the basic principles. And I think it's interesting when you think about it for a moment and you go that failure is normal. And it is something that has been discussed for almost 30 years. Yes, 30. We still tend to have a struggle with it. We still tend to have the blame shame game. Like, it is so much easier to blame someone. It is so much easier to say it was, Joe from whatever department's fault that did this, opposed to saying, hey, we are going to have failures. I mean, it's just interesting on why we want to turn around and always blame someone, and why we take a look and go, why is it that failures is not okay? It's just an interesting concept that I don't understand why it has taken so long to get to this point, and we're still kind of in similar path than what we were. And I look at it and I go, what is it today that's holding your organization back? For you to realize that failure is normal. And well, of course, we can go into the whole blame and shame game because that seems to be the kind of the one that goes next. But what do you think about this? What do you think about when it comes to this whole aspect of failure? Why is it that if we tell people that failure is normal, there is this disregard on their whole face of what the hell is going on? Why is it there's this whole thing of like there's this freak out moment of people don't know what to do? I'm being serious. There's a lot of questions that come up with that. And I go, you as a safety professional and I as a safety professional have worked or still currently work at organizations where this has been a problem. And how do you get over the hump, especially it being hump day? How do you have the influence inside of the organization to explain on how these things happen? And maybe that's more along the lines of something to talk about. Maybe that's more along the lines of something to discuss. Because listen, at this point, if the people in your organization are not familiar with failure being normal, how do you change it? As we have said plenty of times before, you cannot be a prophet in your own land. And sometimes you need someone else to come in, or maybe as simple as a book, to explain to other people on what needs to be done. Listen, I will tell you, I had the fortunate opportunity to go out to Nebraska a few weeks ago. And it was interesting listening to a portion of the C-suite and say, hey, listen, our safety guy says stuff very similar to what you guys are saying, but he doesn't say it as detailed. Now, listen, I'm not picking on the safety person, but it was interesting to hear on how they had already heard and been sprinkled with the information, but they felt that they needed somebody else to come out to pretty much say something extremely similar. It kind of makes you think about a lot of things when it comes around and about and all that kind of fun stuff. So there you go. Anyways, with that being said, it is currently 38 minutes past the top of the hour. You know, I got you to, I got a lot of things to make you start wondering, is failure as normal as we say? And if you don't think that it is, what's holding you back? Maybe that's the thing to think about.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
The WorkWise Summit is an interactive 2-day gathering that will bring like-hearted leaders together like never before as we discuss ways to better align HR, safety, and operations around one common goal: creating the future of work together. Day 1 will focus on self-performance with talks with leading experts on how to live and lead at our best. Day 2 will focus on organizational performance with discussions on what we can do together to break down silos and foster action. The Work Summit will take place at Coker Tire Museum in Chattanooga, Tennessee on Thursday, September the 22nd and Friday, September the 23rd. For more information, go to worksbees.com/Y Summits. That's WORKZBE.com Y Summit.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Attention business owners. Are you receiving all the employee tax credits you have coming to you? A tax refund program provided for by the CARES Act of 2020 could be worth thousands. Employee retention tax credits, or ERTCs, are a fully refundable payroll tax. You may be eligible for up to $26,000 per employee per quarter. At Lifetime Advisors, we have a team of experts dedicated to the ERTC program. We work with businesses of all sizes, both big and small, to claim the money that they're entitled to. It's your money, and we can help you get it. Call Lifetime Advisors today at 1-877-851-0005. We'll send you a short questionnaire to see if you qualify. There is no obligation, but this is a limited time program. Don't miss out. Call 1-877-851-0005. That's 1-877-851-0005 to get the ERTC money you have coming to you. Lifetime Advisors.
Have you ever wanted to start live streaming and were not sure how to do it? You can start live streaming up to 40 social media platforms all at one time for as little as nada. It's going to cost you your time. That is what it's going to cost. You can pre-record, you can live stream, you can do a multitude of things. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to safetyfm.com/one. That's safetyfm.com, ONE.
Got me looking like a clown. Summer always let us down. Tell me I be what I eat. Can't help it, I got my needs. Close the curtain, kill the sound. Summer always let us down. Hey, hey, dirty chicks, you got plenty of them. Hey, hey, mad kicks, come on, done and dustin'. Hey, hey, blah, blah, then you walk away. And I turn to the pipe to forget your name. Like Lenny, I imagine that you like me. Like many, I don't know.
Okay, there you go. 44 minutes past the top of the hour. This is the Rated R Safety Show, just in case if you got lost in the transition. So this one right here is coming to you by Summer Letdown Superintendent McCupcakes. Yes, this is called Summer Letdown by Superintendent McCupcakes, in case you were wondering. Thank you to Superintendent McCupcakes for allowing us to play this here on the Rated R Safety Show. Songs readily available on Spotify and iTunes if you want to hang out and take a listen. Okay, there you go. There you go. Thanks for sharing that info right there. I always love me some new music because, you know, that's what I need more in my life is musica. That is for sure. Anyways, if at any point I have something super important to tell you, or if you want to take anything out of this lovely gem, this is the information right here. And that's about my friends at 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. They can help prevent suicide. The Lifeline provides 24/7 free and confidential support for people in distress, prevention, and crisis resources for you or your loved ones, and best practices for professionals in the United States. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to 988lifeline.org. That's 988lifeline.org. Or you can call 988. That's pretty much it. Or you can text the word TALK to 988, and that'll get you moving and grooving. Listen, this is one of these conversations that we should not have sometimes, but all the time. And like I have told you plenty of times before, if we are to hang out together on the radio or in person, you're going to hear me talk about this because that's how important it is to me that we talk about this all the time. Seriously, not a joke, as we are talking. Anyways, let's get into some other stuff that is going on. Anyways, yesterday was a big primary day for most places. So I am going to go where I normally am not bold enough to go, but I will talk a little bit about this. And let's do the political report for today. And let's have Mark Mayfield tell us about it.
A new poll shows that Americans are closely divided on who should control Congress. An NBC News poll found 47% want Republicans to take control, while 45% want Democrats to remain in power. This is a drop for Republicans who seemed to have all of the momentum just months ago. The White House monkeypox deputy coordinator is confident about getting the virus under control.
We are on track. I think that this monkeypox outbreak is really unprecedented, and it's really been categorized by a lot of pivots.
Dr. Dimitri Daskalakis says some larger cities are starting intradermal vaccinations, which use less of the shot with the same efficacy. The new strategy is meant to get more vaccines in arms. And a decision from President Biden on student loan debt forgiveness is likely less than a day away. Sources tell NBC News the president is expected to extend the payment pause for several months. He's also reportedly working on forgiving loans up to $10,000 for those who make under $125,000 a year. That's politics. Mark Mayfield, NBC News Radio.
Okay, thank you, Mark Mayfield, for that one, letting us know what is going on inside of the world. Anyways, we're going to talk about this because it was a big deal yesterday. Florida Congressman Charlie Crist is declaring victory in the Sunshine State as he has secured the Democratic nomination for governor on Tuesday's primary election. He's already looking ahead.
This is the most consequential race in the history of our state. And when we win in November, we will send shockwaves across this country.
Crist defeated Agriculture Commissioner Nikki Fried, setting up the battle between incumbent Republican Governor Ron DeSantis in November. DeSantis is also considered likely the 2024 presidential candidate despite the loss. Fried also told MSNBC that she would like to be Crist's lieutenant governor if asked. She says that whatever it takes to take down DeSantis. Florida Agriculture Commissioner Nikki Fried also tells NBC that that her party is to defeat the GOP governor. Take a listen.
My number one priority is making sure that we make Ron DeSantis a one-term governor and not eligible to run for president of the United States in 2024.
Okay, so there you go. A lot of stuff going on right there. Boy, you know, the lovely politic world. That's why we get to talk about it. Anyways, in some other news real quick, as it is 48 minutes past the top of the hour, the answer of getting bigger muscles could be quantity over quality. A new study found that just a little bit of exercise each day is better for your body than one intense workout session. Researchers from Australia and Japan found that doing a handful of bicep curls each day, 5 days a week, actually improve muscle strength more than continuously doing dozens of curls in longer exercise routines once a week. And even better that they found that people that don't even that have a workout or full intensity to achieve these results. The scientists say that the research shows that it only takes a very manageable amount of exercise on a regular basis produce noticeable improvement in strength. There's my problem. I've been exercising weekly, very weekly, if you get my point. I mean, it's kind of interesting to hear that because there's a guy that I listened to, and I've read several of his books by the name of Mark Sisson. And he claims that you only have to exercise about 7 minutes a day, or is it 7 minutes 3 times a week? I know that it boils down to 7 minutes, and he says it's not crazy stuff. And the dude, for his age, looks like he's in good shape. Matter of fact, who am I kidding? Not even for his age. The dude looks in good shape regardless. Because if he was standing here and I was standing here, he's always been in better shape than I have ever been. So there you go. Anyways, if you're picking a playlist that was the step number 1 for your way of getting back to set to study, there are more likely to have a high GPA. Yeah, listen to this real quick. A survey of 2,000 people looked at the link between music and study habits and found those who play music were likelier to have a GPA of 3.2 than above 3.2 than those who studied in silence, 84% to 78%. The results showed that half of the respondents recall regularly listening to music while studying. 49% and 60% felt better and able to study something while playing music in the background. This percentage is even higher among young students. And now I'm an old, I'm so old that I turned down the radio to find my exit on the highway. So that's not even a joke as I say that. That's some serious stuff. You never understand that. Why is it when people are looking for stuff and they're older inside of a car, they turn down the radio? Like, is that going to really help anything? I never know really the answer to that question. Anyways, with that being said, I think it's time to bring in some John Smalls once again and let him tell us about the Motivation Minute.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Today's quote was submitted by Brett. Bill Gates said, "Success is a lousy teacher. It seduces smart people into thinking they can't lose." Oh, I agree completely on this one. I've been amazed to watch someone do well with something almost on a whim. It seemed like they kind of fell into success with their project, but then they thought they were an expert because of that success. But they were not an expert. They were fortunate for sure, but they have no idea why it worked the first time, so they don't really have a step-by-step plan on how to duplicate that success. Meanwhile, if you stumble a bit, you know where every bump is, and you'll learn how to avoid them. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Your Wellness Minute is brought to you by AlysaMorgan.com. It's very interesting how memories are stimulated by music and how often they come from early times in youth when we experience things for the first time. There is a big dopamine release from first-time experiences in general, but the pleasure from music listening itself also elicits dopamine, which might explain why so many musical memories are associated with our teens and early 20s. A study published in 2020 in Music and Science showed that songs from a person's adolescence tend to trigger a disproportionate amount of nostalgia and memories compared to music encountered later in life. But what the study did not explain was why. There is probably a lot of mechanisms at play, including first-time experiences, dopamine releases, hormones around that age, etc. For more information on wellness, check out AlysaMorgan.com.
It's this show, and they just make fun of a whole bunch of people. It's just too funny. It's too stupid.
Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, why did we go so far in saying that it was too stupid? Really? Have we gotten to that level now that even the promos inside of here tell me what the hell is going on? Anyways, with that being said, 53 minutes past the top of the hour. If you want to come and hang out with me on Radio Big right after this show, you're more than welcome on doing so. We play some music, do some kind of fun stuff, talk about some entertainment news and all of that. All you have to do is go to radiobig.fm. That's the website. Or you can go to the iHeartRadio app and just type in Radio Big, and that will get you directly to us as we are live streaming 24/7 onto that thing right now. So there you go. Anyways, let's talk about Did You Know? Because of the drought conditions in California, the largest district in the state is paying residents $2 per square foot to rip up their lawn. And the cities with metropolitan water districts have the option of adding more cash incentives. Bill McDowell, Senior Resource Specialist with the Water District, which services 19 million customers, envisions that the future when residential lawn is what he calls abnormal in Southern California. And he says that 70% of water use in high area goes outdoor irrigation led by lawn. So think about that. I think it's interesting because I was in Baja California Sur earlier this year, and I was in a section, and I had somebody telling me about how they have terrible water situation going on there, that when it rains, it's normally less than 0.7 inches. Yes, 0.7 inches for the whole year. And I was like, how is that even possible? But I guess, they're feeling the pain everywhere down the Baja California, or this is the California Peninsula altogether, or California and the Peninsula, however you want to take a look at it. Anyways, let me give you some whack facts for today because it is Wednesday, and I like talking about them on Wednesday in particular. The world's shortest escalator at a mall in Japan has a vertical height of 81 centimeters, or 2 feet 8 inches. It has 5 steps, and it takes about 8 seconds to ride. Wearing headphones for an hour can increase the bacteria of your ear by 700%. Only 1 out of every 3 people has 20/20 vision. The flashes of colored lights that you see when you rub your eyes are called phosphenes. Bananas are slightly radioactive, and there are more Lego minifigures than there are people on Earth. Think about that one. That one might make your actual noodle explode.
Another pitfall of our society. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, with that being said, let's talk about some things that happened back on this day. Taking a look around, back in 1981, John Lennon's assassin is given 20 years to life for murdering the famous songwriter. Mark David Chapman gunned down Lennon on December the 8th, the year before, in New York City. On the day of his sentencing, Chapman read Catcher in the Rye, the same book that he was found reading at the scene of Lennon's murder when he was taken into custody by the NYPD. Chapman served time at Attica before being transferred to Wendy Correctional Facility in Alden in 2012. His pleas for parole have been denied so far. That happened back in 1981. If you're looking at some birthdays to celebrate today, I got some of those for you. Let me jump around and give you some. Chad Michael Murray turns 41 today. Dave Chappelle, 49. Reggie Miller, 57. Cal Ripken Jr., 62. Vince McMahon, he turned 77 today. And Mason Williams turns 84. So there you go. If you're looking at some days of the year to celebrate, I have some of those as well because, we always are looking for some celebratory days. It's National Waffle Day and National Hug Your Boss Day, just not in an inappropriate manner. I mean, I'm just trying to throw that out there just to be safe and sound. What a week, huh? You get it? So there you go. Anyways, if you need a random joke for today, I got one of those for you. Everything is like either expensive, illegal, or won't text me back. So there you go. If you need a phone starter for today, try this. What's your all-time favorite line from a movie? If you need something for the water cooler, try this. A survey showed that we are the most likely to do this on Wednesday than any other day. What is it? Hit the snooze button. Well, I don't know. You need to talk to my wife because that seems to happen every day with her clock, but that's a whole other story. And now I'm going to get in trouble for mentioning that out loud. But hey, it has just happened. Anyways, that's going to end everything here on this side of the section. Like I said, if you want to go over to radiobig.fm, you're more than welcome on doing so. Thank you for always being the best part of Safety FM and Radio Big. And I don't say that jokingly when I say that. That's some serious business because you are the most important part of Safety FM and Radio Big because without you, we couldn't do what we do around here. That is for sure. Anyways, if I can leave you with a deep thought for today, I would love to leave you with this one. Whatever you're meant to do, do it now. The conditions will always seem impossible. Listen, procrastination's not the way to do it. Do it now. Do what you are meant to do now. Now go do it. Anyways, I know who you are.
Duh.
You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.
I'm trying to be. I'm sure I was wrong, but so were you. So get off your high horse, shovel the gold.